Okay. Well, it looks like we're live. I can't hear myself. Hi. There we go. Okay. Is that crazy voice loop gone? What's up, Skate fam? Are we better? Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, so where were we? We were talking about the hardcore Evo and the mesh, right? So I don't really know what the big difference between the new Evo and the old Evo really is as far as performance and stuff goes. I know that, I mean, you guys all saw the mesh on the toe, and I really don't think it'll be that big of a deal. Obviously, the mesh looks maybe weaker, but whenever I first started using the Evos, I had a lot of people commenting on the reviews of them that said they look like they would be easily damaged or, easily torn up, and that has not been the case at all. I've had my Evos for about 2 years now, and I skate them all the time, and they still look like really pristine. So I don't think that it's going to be a big deal. Not really. I think overall, I think that it's pretty cool. And maybe it'll make the skate a little more breathable. And one thing I really like is that new. Have you guys seen that new? It's I don't know what it's called. It's like a color lab sort of thing where you can color the different sections of the skate that Power Slide has going on, so you can get custom colored skates. I think that's something that's really present in the quad skating industry that the inline skating industry is missing, and I like that. I like that they're doing that. Okay, what's our other question here? I know someone who is 30 and is thinking about starting skating, but he's scared that people his age that skate are really good. Any tips? Well, I know somebody in Oklahoma City who started skating at the age of like 65, and he was kind of afraid of that at first too, but he just went out and started skating every single day. So maybe if your friend is worried about skating around other people and he feels self-conscious, it would be a good thing for him to go and skate alone, or maybe you could skate with him and encourage him, and then kind of warm him up to skating with other people. Maybe he just needs to build his confidence and watch some good beginner videos, some tutorials, and get comfortable, right? Actually, so one thing that I wanted to talk about is the idea of break falls. And this is something that I feel like doesn't get talked about in the skating community enough. We see a whole lot of different falling techniques, and a lot of them, and okay, don't get me wrong, I fully advocate that we should all be wearing pads whenever we're, skating, and especially when we're skating in dangerous situations like skating in the city and stuff. But I see a lot of teachers or people that make tutorials teaching people to fall on their pads, and you should know how to fall on their pads, but I'd like to learn to fall downstairs. So you should know how to fall on your pads, yes, and you should be, well practiced in that, so that if you're ever faced with that situation, you can know how to handle it. But in my opinion, you should look up, at the end of this video, go and YouTube martial arts breakfall techniques or breakfall tutorials. And this is kind of like it's the art of learning to spread your body out as you fall and learning to roll into a fall and you'll see these guys, they will slap the ground while they're rolling and while they're falling in order to absorb some of the shock. And I think that practicing this in a controlled area with a mat, and I mean, maybe even taking martial arts would be a good thing, or at least going to that. This is something, right? You want to go to an instructor that can really train you how to do it. And you want to practice this a lot so that it can become muscle memory. Because in my opinion, anything that you do over and over becomes muscle memory, one. So it's something that you will react with naturally. And two, when you make your muscle memory the idea of falling on your elbows and knees and relying solely on your pads, say you ever decide to skate without those pads, then your muscle memory will still default to falling on your joints. And even with pads, I don't think that harsh impact on your joints is good for them. How to stop while going downhill, because I cut my face open going down a slope. Oh man, I'm so sorry. How to stop while going downhill. So I actually cover this a little bit in the How to City Skate video, the part 2. And I think that carving back and forth is really good for stopping and speed control going downhill. You want to learn, in my opinion, you want to learn how to power slide. And maybe if you're in quad skates, that's not as good of an idea as it is in rollerblades, but carving definitely. That's an absolute must-have skill for stuff that like high-speed downhill. And what'd you say, Jeff? Fall down 7 times, get up 8, never give up on skating. Right on, man. The best skaters have their share of falls as well. Yeah, that's a good lesson, right? I think that's a lesson we all appreciate as skaters, that no matter how many times you fall down, you always have to get back up. By the way, I live in the same place as Brett Davies. Oh, nice. The Silva Surfer, right? Yeah, he's Brett Davies has been making moves, man. I saw a bunch of his correspondence with Ricardo Lino. I think he was on a live feed with Ricardo Lino recently, and he's got this nice little partner with Micro going. It looks like he's getting a lot of skates and stuff. Yeah, dude, he is a great skater. Really he is, and I like that blue setup that he's rocking. That's super cool. What Tell me, what do you guys think about, like some of the smaller YouTubers? Who are y'all watching as far as small YouTubers go? I think so you guys know I watch the Aussie Inline skater 1. So if you're not watching him, you need to check him out. His name's Jacob. He's actually become a good friend of mine behind the scenes. We talk all the time. Tiago has a great channel, but I don't know if I wouldn't call him a smaller channel. He's really big now. He's got like 60,000 subscribers or something. But yeah, I just picked skating back up, and I like 20 years ago was the last time. Oh wow, well welcome to the community, or welcome back rather. That's really awesome. There's a lot of people that have just gotten back into skating, or are first getting into skating because of the global health crisis. We have to be careful how we say that on YouTube. What'd you say, Krim? I agree. I'll add that a normal forward roll is very different with skating momentum. I rolled a staircase and fell at the bottom. Ended up doing a forward Aikido style roll over my shoulder. Yeah, dude, it'll save you. I'm telling you. Breakfall theory is 100. It's so important. Y'all gotta look it up. Gotta look it up. Like, I've thought about doing a video like a tutorial video, but it's something that I'm so scared to make a mistake with, because it's really like, it's something you got to practice, and you really need somebody there with you to correct you and teach you, because it's a super important skill to have. Okay, so the small channels, are you guys familiar with Nixvi? It's Nikzvi. I think he's in St. Petersburg, Russia. I really like his channel. He's super chill, and he got a 360 camera recently, and he's rocking that pretty hard. So I like his channel, and the Aussie Inline skater, and who else? Well, I add that it messed up my shoulder quite a bit. Oh man. So have you recovered from it? It would have been better I landed on my chest. I used to skateboard also. I was watching your Snake Jam. I should be there in about a year. So ready to jam again. Good day, Dave. So I currently skate with quads outside that have a heel on the boot, and was just wondering what you think about heels versus flats. So heels versus flats. So the heels, obviously, these have higher tops usually, so you have a little more support in the ankle with those, so that's good. But I want you to think about this, and I'm not trying to be sensationalist or scare anybody, but I want you to think about this. People don't often roll their heels when they're walking, people don't often roll their ankles when they're walking in flat tennis shoes, but they do roll their heels when they're walking in high heels. So this is something to be cautious of. But the heel, a lot of these skates are designed for dance, so they tend to provide more dance-like agility. I find that when I skate in the high top heeled skates, I can get on my toes much more easily, and I can balance on my toes. Like, I can skate pretty much infinitely on the front toe of one foot in those things, whereas the flat-soled skates, not so much. But that's more of a speed skate design, right? So they're more set up for agility, and you see that style a lot in roller derby. So it really depends on what you do or what you're doing in as far as your skating goes. But I really think that they're both good, but again, you have to be a little cautious with the heel. I would not do park skating. I see people park skating in them, and I don't know. I've never done it myself, so I can't knock it. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but it's kind of suspicious to me. It's kind of scary. Okay, when should I upgrade my skates? Because I got my current ones on offer for, oh wow, that's really affordable, and I've got better since I started in March, but I don't know when to upgrade to better quality. In my opinion, if you have the budget to upgrade, you can upgrade now. There's this old saying that we hear in the music scene about how, people become these great musicians by getting a guitar that has one broken string and sounds like junk, and they learn to shred on that. And maybe there's some merit to that, but in my opinion, you're always going to enjoy your experience more on a better setup, and you're always going to have more room to grow, right? So if you have a better skate with more support or more power transfer or whatever it is that you're looking for, right? If you have more of that, that's going to give you more room to grow. So I think that right now is as good of a time as any to upgrade. Yeah, you're welcome. Upgrade to vanilla or custom? What? I don't understand. Well, I have vanilla skates, I'll say that. And I love vanilla skates. I have the Tony Zanes, the freestyles, and I've had them for 4 years, 5 years, something like that, and they've held up really well. Hey Dave, love your videos, and I'm currently learning the power stop. Nice. But I'm struggling with actually stopping. I tend to continue turning. Should I put more weight on the outside foot? Okay, so let me ask you, are you using quad skates or are you using inline skates? That I think that's an important question. But the stop generally works the same in both, but there are some inlines right now. So yes, with inlines, especially if you have harder wheels, you're gonna slide more. And I think the important thing is to get the weight. Okay, the foot that has all the weight on it, the one that kind of travels backward while you're, power sliding. That's gonna carry most of the weight. But yes, you can put more pressure into the stopping edge, especially if your skates have harder wheels on them. And if you're turning, you just got to focus on where your hips are, because your hips, how your hips turn out, really dictates where you're going to turn. So true about better skates. Yeah. Was pronated in rollerblade and K2 until I got my first pair of Seba. Now, nice. Yeah, I have a couple of pairs of Seba skates and they've been amazing. Oddly enough, I skated a pair of rollerblades like back in the mid 90s or something when rollerblade was like basically the only brand that anyone knew of. And I have not had any rollerblades since. I don't know why. I haven't avoided them or anything. I really like Seba and Power Slide a lot. I have a question. In what circumstances are roller skates better than inline skates? Personally, I like roller skates for the skating rink better. I do roller skate outside, but for obvious reasons, I think inlines are better outside because thinner wheels, less contact. They handle the bumps and the ground and broken road pieces in your way and stuff like that. But as far as the rink experience, I really like quad skates more personally. I feel like I can because you can feel the bumps and stuff, right? That tells you that you can feel the surface better. And I feel like I'm more connected to a smooth surface when I'm on quads. And consider this. So I started skating on quads when I was a little kid. I didn't start inlines until I was in like high school. So when I started inlines, I was already really good at sprinting in quad skates. And so I would put like a lot of power into my takeoff, right? Because your wheels have so much surface contact and you get so much grip and so much power in your push. And when I started doing inlines, I started trying to sprint like that, and my feet would just slip everywhere because you can't get, even with stickier wheels, you can't get the same kind of power transfer through an inline skate because you don't have nearly as much surface contact. So I think that quad skates are really good for building power and control in the ankles that inline skates cannot build. What's your opinion on the relatively new Rhine skates? I can never seem to find the older models like Chronos online. I don't know how the new models compare. I was actually looking into those like 2 days ago, and unfortunately, man, I didn't look into the higher end models, but they look affordable. There was one that it's like the Apollo or something, I think, and it was like $200. They had it on sale at Pro Skater's place. It was on clearance, and it was like $200 or so. But as I was looking at it, it looked like the whole thing was just plastic. So I don't know. I would say My opinion on Powerslide is that Powerslide is kind of the leader in innovation in the inline industry. Like, you have ice hockey skates where they get new models every single year, and then at the end of the year you can go back and buy the old models for like $100 or less. Like, I bought a new pair one year and they were almost $300, and then the very next year a friend of mine went and bought the exact same model for like $50. So this just tells you how fast everything grows in the ice industry. And in my opinion, Powerslide is like kind of the inline version of that. I don't know that their stuff gets like significantly cheaper by the year, but I do know that I really admire how much effort they put into designing new stuff and coming out with new models every year. And I think it's good. I think it keeps the inline industry on their toes. It's really important to have a player in the industry like that to keep the innovation rolling. Okay. If I want to replace the axles on my Seba GT90, which are single screw, could I use other generic axles in place of them? Thanks for all your work. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so I mean, these are the axles that fit 8mm bearings. I want to say yes, you can get any axle that is that size, but in my opinion, so I've recently come to understand a little bit more about how skating products and stuff are designed from my work with the Endless Blading Company. And the guy that designed the frames, the Endless frames, he has a lot of really good engineering knowledge. This guy really knows what he is talking about. And from what he's explained to me, the tiny little details of tolerances matter a lot. So when you have a frame that is made by Seba, I would say that I would want to buy Seba axles for that frame specifically. And the reason is because Seba axles are going to be optimized to work with Seba frames, because they, in the AutoCAD system that they designed that frame in, they're designing that frame to function well with their own axles. And I recently ran into a funny little axle fiasco where I ordered some of those light up wheels that have the little plastic light up spacers with the flint that spins and sparks on the inside. And what I learned was, so these came from Powerslide, and I tried to get Seba axles through them, and I could not get the axles through them. But I took my Powerslide axles and they slid right in, and they're both made to fit 8mm bearings, but they did not fit these specific spacers. So that's my thoughts on axles and stuff. Okay, what else we got? I'm thinking of starting figure skating in the future, just to try a different style. Which would you say are better, quads with a heel or inlines with a heel and toe stop? Ooh. Those two are going to be really different, right? Because the inlines with the heel and the toe stop, those have a rockered setup, and I mean, they are both, in my understanding, figure skating boots, but they're mounted to different frames, obviously. I would say that obviously the inlines are going to be the closer experience to the ice, and I noticed that whenever figure skaters spin on the ice, right, they're spinning on like the ball of the foot and kind of dragging the toe pick for control. And whenever inline figure skaters do that same movement, right, it's kind of the same thing. But if you watch a quad figure skater do the same spin, they do it on the heel. So the technique looks completely different. Like, the moves look the same, but the technique looks completely different. So I think it really just depends on what you're comfortable with. And I also think that you should consider that you're going to have a rocker, and the rocker is probably going to be a little more agile. If I want to replace the axles on, okay, that was, all right. Okay, so we were talking about, for skating on your toes in quads, what is the best advice for maintaining balance? I really want to get better at the snake walk without slamming so much. Skating on your toes in quads. Anytime you're skating on your toes, the best thing to remember is to never put your feet side by side. You always want to have one in front of the other, and always keep your knees bent. So that whenever I see people learning how to skate on their toes, they are usually, when they're having problems, it's usually because they are trying to make their feet always be side by side. Do you have any thoughts on the GoPro Max? I'd rather not buy an Insta360. Yeah, I can understand that. So my friend Lemyron Starling, by the way, plug. Lemyron Starling is an excellent videographer and editor, and he also skates. He has a small YouTube channel. You can check him out if you want to. His videos are so cool. But he has a GoPro Max, and from what I noticed, man, the GoPro Max seems to handle the low light situations that we skate in better than my Insta360 does. We will skate in the exact same setting together, and both filming with very similar settings on our cameras, and his low light settings look way better. So I don't have anything against the GoPro Max. My only caution about it is that I know that I'm going to fall, and the reason I bought the Insta360 1R is because it had the best lens covers out of any of the, at the time anyway, and I bought it a year ago, so that may have changed, but at the time, it had the best lens covers by far. His name is Lemyron Starling. Lemyron Starling. So, but again, he films with the GoPro Max, so you can watch his 360 videos, and they're incredible. But the lens cover on that thing, he doesn't use a lens cover because the lens covers are not very good on it. So what he did was buy a warranty where he can get it replaced twice, and he's already broke the lens on it once and had to send it into GoPro. So just something to keep in mind. What wheel hardness would you recommend for indoor inline skating? I haven't been to an indoor rink in a while and had the chance to test wheels and how they react to different stops in a rink. Okay, so the main question you have to ask yourself when trying to figure this answer out is, what is the condition of the floor that you're skating on? Does it have because we're talking about a rink, so does it have a good urethane coat, a gripping urethane coat? Or is it like a wood floor that hasn't had the urethane coat laid down in a few years and it's kind of slick? That is a big factor. So if I have a floor with a super good urethane coat, I can skate with like my 85A outdoor wheels, and some floors I can't even do proper power stops on because I have so much grip and I can't get the wheels to break loose. But then other floors where the rinks have let the urethane coating go bad and they don't maintain them very well, I can skate with like 78A wheels and they're still slippery. So it really depends on the surface that you're skating on, but I would say anywhere between, I know it's such a broad range, but anywhere between 78A and 88A is probably going to be your best bet depending on the surface you're on. I want to start doing some mild aggressive stuff, but I don't think I'm fit enough to do it. Are there any specific workouts to do that make that stuff easier and possible? I don't know. I'm not a workout coach, but Personally, I do a lot of squats, and I have some dumbbells, and I just try to do, basic weighted exercises to keep myself in shape. And obviously I don't do very much aggressive stuff, but I would say probably lots of squats would help, I guess. COVID got my local rink shut. Like closed down, or just closed for the moment? The only one nearby is seriously rubbish. Oh man, that sucks. Yo, what's up? I'm new to Inline from Long Beach, California. Long Beach, California. Very nice. You guys have a great skating scene out there, don't you? I see in videos from California, I see so many good skaters in those videos. I would really, after this whole thing, this whole sickness mess blows over, I really want to go out there. And I actually know some other skaters out in California that I would love to meet up with. Yeah, closed down. Oh, man, I'm so sorry. So my home rink, I've talked about this before, but my home rink closed down a few years ago, and that was a really heartbreaking experience. I grew up in that rink, and it was actually the biggest rink that I've ever been in my entire life. It was huge. I don't know the square footing on it, but at every rink that I've been to ever since it closed down, every rink that I've been to has only been about half the size. And so it was one of those things where we didn't even know what we had, right, until we lost it. And it was tragic. It was owned by an old man named Bob Webb. And Bob Webb had owned it since the early 80s. And back in its heyday when I was a kid in the early and mid 90s, dude, we would go in there and there would be like 500 to 600 people packed in the rink on the floor. And it was like those those adult night skate jams that you see in Chicago and stuff, where it's like you don't even know how you're going to get on the floor because there's so little room and everybody's like rolling shoulder to shoulder. Man, that kind of stuff was every Friday night, every Saturday night, and it was booming. And then somewhere it just fell off and died. I have a rink in the town I live in and just get bored after 2 hours and give up. I wish I had more ambition for inline skating. Man, I watch videos and stuff whenever I want ambition for skating. I seek out videos from people who are better than me, and I watch them and I'm like, man, how can I do that? What's funny about that is, so I had a motorcycle injury years ago, and I was like laid up in bed, and at that time I'd never considered being a skating YouTuber of all things. So, but I found Bill Stoppard's channel, and Bill Stoppard at the time was like really the only person that was like skating with a selfie stick, and or that I knew of anyway. And man, I watched him skate, and I was like, whenever I get out of this bed, whenever I get motorcycle fam, what's up, not a Grom? Yeah, and I was like, whenever I get out of this bed, I'm gonna get a new pair of skates, and I'm gonna hit the streets, and like I'm gonna get a selfie stick, and I'm gonna try this. And that's kind of how I got where I am today, was like seeing Bill doing his thing and just being like man, I think Bill said in one of his videos that he had been skating inline anyway since like 1988. So we've been skating about the same time, but like I was completely blown away by his skills, like his city skating skills. Man, say that 5 times fast. Yeah, Bill is the man. No offense though. Motorcycles are cool too. Oh yeah, couldn't find anything online specific to inline skating. Your Grapevine video is sick, bro. Dude, thank you so much. That is an old video. That's one of those that like it gets so many views now because it's been up so long, and I look at that and I'm like, oh no, that was like one of the first tutorials I ever made, and it was so bad. Thank you for all your content. Would you think it possible to run a rockered African style a la Ricardo Lino on the Power Slide DH350 frame, running 100, 105, 110, 110 wheels front to back? Ooh, I don't really know much about those setups. That's an interesting setup. I would say that there's probably not any harm in trying it. I would try it out and just see how it feels. That sounds interesting. It sounds kind of like like a high-low setup. Is that how it works? Is that how high-low setups work out? That it's like kind of smaller wheels in the front and it gradually transitions more and more to the back. That's whenever I rotate my wheels, I kind of keep mine more set up like a figure skating frame or blade rather, where there's more like a deeper rocker in the ball of the foot. So I tend to keep my largest wheel right there under the ball of the foot in the second position, but I like the skill in that. Any advice or more tutorials that I can look up or find on your channel? I have a crab walk tutorial, and that one's seems to be really popular. My most popular tutorial recently is the trucking tutorial, and that one. I mean, I'm still at like 11,000 subscribers, so I'm, in my opinion, still kind of a small YouTube channel, or actually a really small YouTube channel, but that one's getting like sometimes like 1,000 views a day, which is really good for me. So I would say that, and it's a fun move, dude. I've seen people do it in rinks my whole life, and I've been doing it my whole life. It's older. It's like decades older than I am. So skating tricks, techniques have the best names. Yeah, they have, some of them have really cool names. And what's crazy is you'll get these disciplines where people will just like, you'll have an inline skater and a quad skater and an ice skater doing similar moves, and they'll call it different names, like the three turn and the lion, like Leon Basin and Sean Unwin. These guys do what they call a lion. And I know there's like a slight difference, but it's the foundation of it is basically a three turn, but it's a completely different setup. So it's funny how the naming of moves works like that. I don't think you need to do anything specific for skating, maybe just plyometrics for jumping. Man, thanks, Krim. I'm like reading your comments and learning stuff about how to how to work out for skating. Yeah, I don't really do anything specific for skating as far as working out and stuff goes. I just work out. I find workouts that make me, feel better and stronger, and then I do them for a little while, and if they work really well, then they work really well. And if they don't, I ditch them. And sometimes I work out in my skates, like I do. I'm not saying go lift weights in your skates. Don't do that. That's probably not a good practice. But I do like lunges and squats and stuff in my skates, and I think that if you have something to hold on to, if you struggle with balance or whatever, that can really help your balance if you have some like kind of a safety net. Do cones really help with style or balance? I'm confused on the purpose for them. So cones are really good for your foot-eye coordination, right? If you give yourself an object to slalom around, even if you're not doing like, dance type slalom, if you're just doing, how hockey players skate with cones, it helps you to train your ability to skate to exact points. Your precision basically is going to be trained by that. And also when you're dealing with cones, obviously you always want to be looking where you're going. So it helps to think about like the cone that I'm looking at is where I'm going. Instead of looking at the cone that I'm passing, I always look at the cone that's in front of me that I'm going to. And that trains that brain habit to always look forward and look where you're going instead of looking at where you are. Hey, Scape fam, checking in from the Bay. From the Bay, like Bay Area, California. Thanks for all the toots. Yeah, man. Yeah, Bay Area, California. The endless blading companies out there. That I think. Okay, dude. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if that helped with the momentum. Oh, you're killing me, man. Ooh, yeah, that maybe threw my. Will you do more tutorials? Yes, I am. Oh, that reminds me. So, absolutely, yes, I will do more tutorials. I got a question in one of my social media accounts for the live feed, and it was, I cannot remember. I'm sorry, I forgot who asked me this, but they asked me about what I'm going to school for. So I'm going to school for a field called instructional technology. And I'm doing this because I love to make tutorials. It's like my favorite part of doing this channel. But unfortunately, it takes the most time. It takes so much time to make a tutorial. There's so much planning and writing and filming like different specific things and different angles, and then lots of editing and voiceover. And so it can take me like 40 hours to make like a 10-minute-ish tutorial. But I'm going to school for instructional technology, which is basically using technology to teach people things, or to how to deploy technology in a classroom or a teaching environment and use that to your advantage. So I'm really learning like lesson planning and how to teach better and how to focus on the more important things that need to be taught. And my school, my degree, I'm in the last year, so I have 88 hours, so I'm not technically a senior, but I'm almost a senior. And I'm in the last year of school, and I'm really enjoying it because it's giving me a lot of skills that I'm going to be able to use on the channel to make the tutorials and the teaching videos a lot better. But unfortunately, so much of my time is eaten up by school right now. So yeah, you're welcome. I think cones are so important. So if you're willing to use cones in your training and your skating, man, more power to you. More power to you. I think that is that a neon skate? Yes, it is a neon skate, but it does not work. I let the batteries corrode in it, and I forgot to change them, and now it doesn't light up. Checking in from Georgia. What's up, Georgia? Are you in Atlanta? There's a crazy good skate scene out in Atlanta. Do you skate in Atlanta? What was I saying? Oh, so, man, lost my train of thought. South Atlanta. That's what's up. I haven't been to Atlanta in years, but they have an awesome skate scene out there. Awesome skate scene. The history of skating video was so good, by the way. Thank you. I put so much work into that history of skate video. I researched for weeks on that, and I was kind of disappointed. It didn't do very well. I didn't get a lot of views, but the people who watched it loved it. So I'm gonna make a follow up to it. It might be like a year from now. I might wait till the holidays to do another one, but they used to sell those neon skates at Target. Yes. My sister-in-law actually, I think, bought me that. Or my girlfriend did. I might get slapped for this. Not really. She's not the violent type, but deserves more. I'll share it to my mates. Thanks. Yeah, there was so when I was making that history video, there was a lady from Australia that was she has a history degree, and her name was Jodie Christie, and she goes by Maine Roland on Instagram, and she messaged me and was like, dude, I saw that you were making this video, and I have this article that I'm writing for the Australian state website on skating. So they have like apparently this website that they're building or getting ready to publish that is like a state sports website for roller and inline skating. So she wrote this really incredible article about the history of skating the world over. And then, toward like the midway of the article, it starts transitioning into the specifics of how skating came to be popular in Australia and, who made it popular. And one really cool thing, is, in the history at this point in the 1800s, women were really like the idea of women being in sports was really looked down upon. And there is like a point in the peak where skating is becoming really popular, where this family of women start doing lots of competitive skating, like polo and stuff. And it was so cool. It was so cool to see these women recognized in a time when it was really looked down upon. So that I was really thankful to this lady that messaged me and shared this piece with me it's not even published yet, so you can't even find it. I'm still waiting for her to publish it. I'm 49 years old and I started skating 2 years ago. Excuse me. Your videos helped me a lot to acquire some techniques, which I couldn't find in videos made here in Brazil. Thank you very much for your tutorials. You're so welcome. I really appreciate comments like that. I love making tutorials, like I said, and I really appreciate knowing whenever they help other people. That's why I spend so much time making them. And sometimes I go back and I watch my tutorials and I find things that are wrong with them, or the instruction and stuff that I could have done better, and I feel like kind of disappointed and frustrated with myself. So it's nice whenever people tell me that they learn from them and they appreciate them. All right. Thanks, Kelso. Yeah. What else? What else did you guys want to talk about? We're all here now. There's 24, 25 of us. This is so cool. Thank you guys for coming to my first live stream. I'm really humbled that you guys all took time out of your evening to just come in here and hang out with me and talk skating. This is so awesome. So awesome. So the small skating channels, I'm noticing that more small skating channels are popping up, and I'm also noticing that the quad skating community is growing within my own channel. And thoughts on ceramic bearings? Oh, don't get me started on bearings. I'll tell you. Ceramic bearings are scary outdoors to me, because ceramic is hard and brittle. And I want to preface this. Take my thoughts on bearings with a grain of salt. I am not an engineer, so anything that I have to say is just my general understanding about bearings and my experience with bearings. But it's my understanding that ceramic bearings are really, really hard. I mean, ceramic is harder than metal, and when you sharpen a ceramic knife, you have to use like a diamond wheel, I think. So that makes it brittle. If you drop a ceramic knife, it can shatter. So I worry about using ceramic bearings and the dangers of getting rocks or tiny pebbles into the ceramic bearings and having them shatter or snap, or maybe that's not even a concern that I should really have, but it is a concern. And also, bearings in general, the skating companies are not going to like me saying this, but bearings in general, in my opinion, there's a lot of marketing that's behind that, right? I've rolled cheap bearings. I've rolled expensive bearings. Indoors, if you're rolling Swiss bearings, you can usually feel a difference because the tolerances on the more expensive bearings are really good and they have a smoother roll. But as far as whether they're faster or not, man, I've skated ABEC 5 bearings and ABEC 7 and ABEC 9 and Swiss and ILQ 5 to 9, and I just don't notice any difference at all in the speed. And I've done studying and research from, like peer-reviewed studies that engineers write, and it seems like the materials that the bearings themselves are made out of is more important than the ABEC rating. And so I don't put a lot of stock in expensive bearings. I don't buy expensive bearings. If a set of bearings costs more than about $35, I don't usually buy them. And when I get the good bearings, I usually get them when they're on sale. And they're good. I buy bearings from reputable companies. I buy twin cam bearings, and I buy Roller Bones, and I buy Bones Reds bearings, and they're all generally the same in my opinion. I didn't come to talk skating. I came to listen and support while I look for a new pew pew. Thanks, Notagram. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Cool motorcycle channel there, by the way. If you guys like motorcycles, go look at Notagram. He's got a fun channel. Hello from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Welcome, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Recently picked up quad skating during the pandemic to help with quarantine depression. I work as an RN. Oh, wow. And have fallen in love with skating. Love all your vids. Joseph, thank you so much for your work as an RN. Your skills right now are invaluable. So, I like that you've gotten into skating, and I love that it's helped you. That's so cool. So if you're from Tulsa, do you ever skate in Oklahoma City? I used to work as a floor guard at the Skate Galaxy in Oklahoma City, and they have really cool adult nights. Like, I think it's like every Sunday or every other Sunday where they have adult nights, and they have a DJ named Lee, and he will come and mix music. And there's a small scene there, but there's some great JB skaters there. And the Skate Galaxy sells beer. Yeah, they sell beer on adult night, or at least they did when I worked there like 4 years ago. So it's a cool scene. And then there's another rink out there that's Southwest Skate. They have a beautiful, beautiful wood floor that they keep really well coated in urethane, and in the back there is actually a pump track. It's like a short wavy pump track, and when you're skating around the rink, you can just hit that pump track in the back. It's so cool. Medical workers are the real heroes during these times. Yeah, not to get too far off topic, but that is 100% true. 100%. Tight trucks and 2-wheel pivots, or loose trucks and 4 wheels on the ground. Tight trucks and 2-wheel pivots. I don't understand what you mean by that. Or loose truck. Okay, but I will tell you that I don't skate with loose trucks. If you want more bend in the trucks, you need to get softer cushions. I don't think that loose trucks does any good. Anytime you loosen something, you're gonna lose power transfer. You're gonna have wasted motion, wasted energy. So I would say if you want loose action in your quads, definitely look into getting some softer cushions. And, maybe you can dial back the tension on the kingpin, but I would not loosen it so much that they're actually loose. Thanks so much. That's cool. I have yet to go to OKC for skating, but have heard of those places. They recently built a new rink. Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah, Oklahoma has quite a few rinks, like the city areas anyway. They have quite a few rinks, and I was really surprised to find that. So when I lived in Oklahoma City, I moved like right down the street from the Capitol, and I could drive downtown in like 10 minutes, and I skated downtown a lot. My favorite part about Oklahoma City and the skating is, and it's so small, but there is an ice rink there that opens seasonally in the winter from like November to late January or early February. It's called the Devon Ice Rink. I actually have a video about it. So if you're curious about it and you want to know what it looks like, you can go check it out. It's a small rink, but it's so fun to skate on, and it's just like here in the South, it stays hot and we don't really have places to skate outside on the ice. So those small ice rinks that pop up in the season, they're so cool. Love the Devon rink. Yes. Thanks so much. Yeah, there was also one that came in, it used to come up, I don't know if it still exists, I cannot remember what it's called, but there was an ice rink in Moore, Oklahoma. And was it in Moore? No, what's the city that's just north? It's not Moore. Moore is south. I can't remember what it's called now that I've been away for so long, but there's a city that's just north of Oklahoma City, and they had a park that has an ice rink, an outdoor ice rink that pops up in the park every year. And there were lots of Christmas lights out, and it was super cool. You guys know that I love festivities. I love Christmas lights and ice skating. I love that you approach skating from a mindset of mastery and slow control. Regarding jam skating fundamentals, what 4 or 5 core moves would you identify as essential to build upon? Good question, Ryan. Good question. So, 1, skating on your toes. Skating on your toes is really important to jam skating. You have to be able to balance on your toes and, in my opinion, also on your heels. But I would count that as one skill. So practice skating on your toes and on your heels. And 2, you need to be able to skate sideways. And I know that's not like a specific jam skating move, but it is very helpful to dance to be able to turn out your hips at the socket, to turn your knees out. So that flexibility provides you with a larger range of motion so that you can practice some of the more advanced moves. And then 3, the crazy legs. And the crazy legs is actually the core for quite a few moves, like the dribble. And I don't know if I'm getting the name right here, but there's one that's like the dribble, but you pivot on the heel and then the toe. And you see the vanilla jam skaters doing this a lot. It's almost like their core move before they build up into like getting down on the floor and doing all the b-boy and stuff with their hands on the floor. And that is, I would say that those are extremely important skills. But yeah, the number one skill for rhythm skating and jam skating and stuff, in my opinion, is to learn to skate on your toes, to be really good at it. And then, you can learn the grapevine out of that to be good on your heels and toes. Because if you have good control on your heels and toes, you can learn the grapevine and the crazy legs and the crab walk and the snake walk. And those if you have those four moves, I think that you can really start building up like good freestyle dance skills from that point. Those are kind of the core moves of my jam skating style anyway. Those are the moves that I practice the most and want to, be the most perfect at. Parking garages, storm bearings, and pads. Yeah, I like parking garages. I skate in parking garages a lot. Sometimes we get kicked out of the parking garages, and I don't go back to those ones. But storm bearings and pads, pads are important. Literally skating at my local rink right now. What's up, Zombish? What is your local rink? Where are you? Where is your scene, man? Love this so much, but I gotta go because, oh man, 3 a.m. You must be in like France. Thanks for stopping in. It took me a long time to build strength. Wonderful, thanks. Have you ever tried to dye Varsity Plus wheels? They have a steel hub. I've never tried to dye Varsity Plus wheels. I've never even used Varsity Plus wheels. I tried to dye, Manchester, England. Okay. Right, you said that. I'm sorry. We were just talking about the Silver Surfer. Thanks for stopping in, Ultraviolet. It's been cool. Have you ever tried? Okay, so I tried to dye wheels one time and it didn't work out, and I never tried it again. I never tried it again. It was a waste of dye. I tried to dye a set of radar wheels, and the dye didn't take. I think it takes like a specific type of urethane that they have to be made out of. You're in Utah. Nice. I haven't been to Utah in like 15 years, but I've been climbing and skating out there and in Salt Lake and stuff, and that's cool. I was actually in Salt Lake City the year that the Winter Olympics came to Salt Lake. I didn't get to go to the Winter Olympics, but I was in Utah while that was going on at classic skating. Oh, is that where the classic rink is that has all the jam skaters and Jensen? Is that his name? I can't remember his last name, but there's a classic skating YouTube channel. And it's run by this guy named Jensen. He's like, I've never spoken to him, but he's a really good jam skater, and he has some cool tutorials. You guys can check that out. That's a tutorial channel I recommend. Are there any skates or wheels that you recommend for jam skating for a beginner? I gotta get some water here. I use a pair of Kaya skates and primarily doing trail skating outdoors, but would love to start jam skating more. Okay, well, so my recommendation for jam skating wheels, it depends on the Kaya skates that you have. You can jam skate in pretty much any roller skates. Obviously, some are optimized for it and some are not. But I think you can jam skate in pretty much any, and Kaya makes pretty good skates in my opinion. There's like mixed reviews about it, but I think they're good. So I think that as far as wheels go, you want to have smaller wheels. So I roll 59 by 38 millimeter wheels for jam skating. And a lot of like the speed skate style jam skates, they come with 62 by 44 millimeters. And this is good for, speed skating, but in my opinion, it's not great for jam skating. I think that the smaller wheels are better for jam skating. And if you look at JB skaters, rhythm skaters, they use like the really small and thin wheels, and those wheels are easier to spin on, and just in general easier to pivot on. Where would you recommend to get custom quads built? You mean like the shop or the company? As far as the company goes, Rydell has a color lab, and they have, Rydell and Bont both have like the custom color options, and they have some really cool customizable options. And then Bont has an option with their carbon skates where they'll send you like a plaster pack, and you can mold the plaster to your feet, and then you cut the plaster open and pull the mold off, and you mail it to them, and then they build the skate like exactly to your foot. exactly. Like, it's not a sizing system. It's built to fit exactly your foot. And so that's super cool. But it takes a long time to do that, because I'm pretty sure, last I checked, it's been a few years, but I'm pretty sure that you have to mail it to China now. So they're not building them in Australia anymore. And it takes like, I don't know, there's like a 6 to 8 week turnaround. And the purple Solaris skate that I have, that was built by Rydell. And you can get pretty much any of their skates that they make in the Color Lab. But here's what's cool. Rydell has a full custom option. And what that means is that not only can you get any color that you want, but you can also, like, if you have a logo or design, you can send them that logo or design, and they will cut and stitch that out of leather and sew it onto your boot. So not only that, they take a drawing of your foot and, like Bont, attempt like an exact measurement, right? So they make a boot that's made exactly to fit your foot. And here's the coolest thing. You can actually take, because it's a full custom option, you can actually take bits from different models and you can blend them together to make your own skate, like your own full custom skate. And that is so awesome. But dude, a boot out of the full custom is like $600 just for the boot. So it is so expensive. Hey, David, greetings from Stanford, California. What's up, Stanford, California? Dr. Blader. Nice name, dude. Nice name. Have you seen the new My Power Slide for custom colored skates? The Hardcore Evo is available and seems right up your alley. Yes, I have seen it. I have been playing in that program, and it is so fun. I've already developed like a couple of different versions of this, really cool purple and silver skate that I would love to get, but can't justify buying because I have an Evo that still like is in great condition. But yes, this is, I was actually saying this at the beginning of the stream. I think that it is really cool that Powerslide's doing that custom option stuff, because it's something that has existed in the quad skate industry for a long time. Like I was just saying, the Rydell Color Lab and Bont's different colors and custom system, and these quad skate companies have been doing this for years and years. And a gripe that a lot of the new skaters have with inline skates is they'll try and decide whether they're going to get into inline or quad skating. And, they don't know a whole lot about skating yet. So they're kind of basing some of their decision on the style of skates. And what a lot of them say is, well, I looked at inlines, but there aren't any like cute inlines. There aren't any stylish inlines. And so they just go to quads because the quad industry has all these customizable options, and they have, Moxie skates that come in all sorts of colors, and like the newer companies that are just popping up, like Impala's making custom, well, I won't say custom. They're making lots of different colors. And then you've got the Jackson Vista, and these come in multiple colors and suede, and Sure Grip makes their own, the Boardwalk. So they are so cute though. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, and so the inline scene has really been lacking in this, and I think that they could be, if they were more focused in making things that are a little bit more stylish, then the inline scene would be growing more like the quad skating scene is, because the quad skating scene has exploded. Like, a lot of people are inline skating since the global health crisis, but I think more people it seems like anyway, more people have gotten into quad skates. I completely agree. We're in desperate need of some bling color variation from the black gray monotones actually in high-end skates. Yeah, for sure. And it's still really prominent that, you know, you go to the inline skating websites to buy inlines and it's like black skates. And like, I know Flying Eagle will throw some red in there, but like, there's not very much customization. And Power Slide, again, I'll say this again, I have a lot of respect for Power Slide. I really do, because they are kind of like, you know, they're a big skating company, and they're kind of an industry leader in that they constantly make new skates. They're constantly rolling out new models, no matter what's going on. They're always designing new stuff, new wheels, new frames, and one thing that's kind of frustrating is they'll move on to the next design and they'll discontinue something. I think while people are still looking for it, and like they discontinued the Katana frames years ago, and I loved those, and they had like 5 of them. I was only able to collect 3 of them before they discontinued them, and then they just disappeared. But again, I really appreciate that they have so much innovation going on, that they're really working toward innovating for the scene. Shoot, I remember the goofy looking inline skates I wore in the 90s at Skate America, and can't help but laugh about it now. Yeah, man. Yeah. Skate America. That was my home rink. That was bogus. No more 4x80 katanas. I can't be sure of it, but I think that I actually got the last pair of 4x80 katana frames on the internet. The place that I bought them from was in like, I don't know. It was in one of the Scandinavian countries, I think. I can't remember which it came from, but I tried to buy a set from companies in the US and the UK that were selling them, and they were all sold out. And there was one pair left at this shop, and I don't even remember the name of it, but it was way outside of where I would normally buy products, and it cost like $50 extra to get it shipped to me. But it was the last pair that I could find online, and I really wanted them, so I ordered them, and I never saw another pair ever show up again. And then shortly after, Power Slide announced that they had been discontinued, and I had people all start, you know, especially in Europe where Power Slide has lots of shops. At least I think they have lots of shops in Europe, but especially in Europe, I had lots of viewers that were telling me that they were looking for them and they could not find them. And then, you know, yeah. But they're great frames. I wish they still made them. I don't know why they discontinued them, but I guess they wanted to move on to other things. But having the 4-wheel rockerable setup is, I think it allows for so many options. You know, when your wheels wear and like you have a natural rocker and you don't want too deep of a rocker, you can set your setup to flat again. What's better as far as lightweight chassis, aluminum or hard plastic? I don't like plastic frames. And on quad skates, I don't like nylon or plastic plates. I know a lot of people use them and they like them. And that's not to say that there aren't good plates, good frames that are made out of plastic, but I don't personally like them because I feel like you lose a lot of power transfer. And they're not as responsive. I don't like my skates to flex as much as, like, I don't like them to have as much flex as you can get in plastic. And I think that one major point, especially if you're skating outside, like, I think that a metal plate is gonna help you feel out the surface that you're skating on better. And if you have like a thicker, like, one thing I love about the endless frames is they're big and they're thick, but they're not heavy. they're not, I mean, they're really, if you hold a set of endless frames in your hands with no wheels and, you know, they're super light for like what they look like. You would look at them and think like, man, this is like a solid chunk of steel and they're going to be heavy, but they're not heavy and they still absorb shock extremely well, like probably better than any inline frames that I've ever used. So I think that's ASMR. Whenever you get in 1 million subs, you should come back home and buy Skate America and reopen it with that name. You know, actually, when the rink closed down, a guy who owned a rink outside of the Texarkana area, like in Gilmer, like maybe an hour and a half away, he tried to talk me into buying the property. And I was like, no, dude, they're selling that property for millions of dollars. And I do not want that kind of debt. And I don't want to be stuck in my hometown for that long trying to pay off that debt. And I don't know if I'll ever reach 1 million subs, man. I don't think any skating YouTube channels have 1 million subs. Hey, David, I don't know if it's your thing, but would you consider doing a commentary to my Gods Are Messing With My Skates video? Oh, what's up, Darvin? Darvin McKinney. Yeah, man. That would be cool. I've got so many projects and stuff going on right now, and I'm super busy with school. So maybe it's something we can consider in the future. But I do like your video. Everybody, Darvin McKinney makes videos and skating videos, and he has this video that he asked me to watch a while back called "The Gods Are Messing With My Skates," and it is. I think it's pretty humorous. I enjoyed it. And he does some like some Michael Jackson style inline skating in it, and it's pretty cool. I recommend it. You guys should check it out. Would you do an endless versus NN comparison? Yeah. I mean, I don't have a set of NN frames, and I don't know enough about them to say that I would buy a set yet. But I mean, again, that is not a knock on NN by any means. All I'm saying is I have a lot of skates and a lot of like money going into skates and stuff, and it just hasn't been on my list of things to buy. But yeah, if I got my hands on a set of NN frames, I would do a comparison video. That would be awesome. There are still katana frames on AliExpress. Got my 4x80 there. Yeah, I looked everywhere too. So, you know, people always say AliExpress is like where you end up with fake skates and stuff. That do is that true? Is that true? Or are they genuine frames? If they are, that's so cool. That's so cool that you can still find the 4x80s, or that there are some still out there. Oh, yeah, he said those are not real. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any from AliExpress, so I can't comment on that. But have you heard of land roller skates? No, I haven't actually. So are these like land skis? Like those things that are like a ski and you have your foot on the like a long frame or whatever, and they have like the big wheels on the end. I don't know. What happened to Lebeda? I think Lebeda is still going strong. Lebeda still makes the Pro Line, and the Pro Line plate is like super popular. It's very expensive. There's skates with like 125 millimeter wheels that are tilted. Oh, wow. Oh, are you talking about that are tilted? I don't know, man. The first thing that comes to mind with that is the SUV. They call it a SUV skate, and it's like the inline frames or inline skates that have tires that you can inflate and skate like in the woods and stuff. Oh, okay. Well, it is getting late, and I think we have been at this for over an hour, so I'm gonna have to wrap it up soon. But if you guys have any more questions, I'll take just a couple more questions, and then we'll have to wrap it up. Thanks, David. Still the best philosopher, instructor, and charismatic personality I've ever seen on YouTube. Thanks so much, Darvin. I really appreciate that. That's awesome, man. That makes me feel really great. I'm humbled. Stride and glide might be real. What's your favorite music to jam to, like dubstep? My favorite music to jam to is like West Coast poppin' music. Have you guys ever heard of Diamond Ortiz? There's Diamond Ortiz, and there's another artist named Fingaz. It's like fingers, but Fingazz. He made a song called I Can Make You, or I Can Make You Feel. And this is like, kind of the like funk boogaloo style popping, like pop and lock music that you see, the old school poppers, Pop and Pete, and like Michael Jackson was really into popping and locking and stuff. And yeah, dude, that is my favorite though. And there's a big scene out on the West Coast, from what I understand, where they still make this like kind of old style, like record scratch, talk box kind of R&B feel, and it's really great. Sean Hollern, what's up, man? Am I saying your last name right? You should make a Spotify playlist for skating, one for outdoor and one for rink. Yeah, I'll think about that. I don't have a Spotify account. I actually use YouTube Music because I have a YouTube Red. I guess they don't call it YouTube Red anymore. YouTube Premium account, but yeah, Sean, you actually asked me on Facebook a couple days ago, right, or a day ago, about my music preferences, and that's that's my music preferences, like lots of pop and lock music and like funk and stuff like that, and also yes, poppin', yes, and I've been into poppin' for years, man. I haven't trained like under a teacher or anything, but I've been watching poppin' videos by guys like Poppin' John. I started out watching way back like Bruno Falcon and Timothy Solomon. They go by Poppin' Taco and Poppin' Pete, and Green Tech and Cocoa Pops. All those guys. What's up, Kev? What's up, the Quad Father in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Poppin' Taco and all those guys, they have oh man, they're such great dancers. And I learned from watching them and watching tutorials, and that eventually, man, I want to get to a point where I can do my own tutorials of that, about like how to blend that style of dancing with roller skating, because I think it goes really well with roller skating. But that's that's such a big project. That's maybe something for next year. Hi from Australia. Love your stuff. What's up, Australia? What part of Australia are you from? And do you watch the Aussie Inline Skater? He's a good friend of mine in Brisbane, in Queensland, and he has such a fun channel where he shows off like the sights and stuff in Queensland. Yeah, I think I think that would be a good idea, to make, YouTube tutorials around, like nobody really does that. And, yeah, Brisbane, and yes. Oh, you're from Brisbane. So have you ever skated with the Aussie Inline Skater? I know all the spots he goes to. Hello from Chicago. What's up, Chicago? You guys have an awesome skate scene, an awesome roller skate scene out there. I want to go to Chicago and skate one day. That would be so cool. I've never been to Chicago, and D Skates is legend. Thank you. Small question. Do you know Paul? Paul who? When you say Paul, the first person that pops into my mind, the guy that actually taught me how to jam skate when I was a little kid, his name was Paul. And he drove from like an hour away, like a really small town, an hour away to come and skate at the rink that I grew up in. And I'm not good enough yet. Give me a few months. I'm taking some classes. I keep checking to see if I have Facebook tab open, but that is on your end. Yeah, I'm okay. Let me close that out. I'm sorry, guys. I did not realize that you could hear what was going on in my computer. Maybe my headphones are really loud. Do I have an echo? Is that a problem? Maybe I need to turn my stuff down. So again, I just want to thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me. The turnout was really great, and I'm really humbled that you all took time out of your evening to come and hang with me. Thank you so much. Like I think I'm blushing. I'm turning red. No, this has been a lot of fun. We have to do this again. I'm gonna do this again, and maybe it'll become like a regular thing, because it's easier than editing videos, and it gives me a chance to engage with you guys. So thanks so much, and keep rolling, keep gliding. Everything that you're doing within the skate scene, keep doing it, and spread the love. And I will see you the next time I lace